guys, I am absolutely thrilled to share that They Say It Takes a Village and WearThat Now have partnered up. WearThat Now is an incredible UAE-based company that provides fashion at your fingertips. As moms, as working women, as stay-at-home moms, we know how difficult it is to get to the mall and spend hours looking for parking, then going into the store and picking an outfit for any particular occasion. Well, insert WearThat Now. They've got your back, providing you with incredible fashion, incredible style, and you get your own stylist. They help style me today, and their looks are elegant, beautiful, and makes me feel super confident. So keep an eye out on the outfits for the next couple of episodes, and would love to hear what you guys think after you receive your gorgeous box of curated outfits specifically for you and for any other occasion. And you guys can check them out on their Instagram, which is at wear.that.now, or on their website, which is wearthat.me. You guys will not regret this because they are incredible. Hi guys, thank you for joining me on another episode of They Say It Takes a Village. As you all know, I always start the episode with a quote. I find it gives context to what we're talking about. And honestly, it's a lovely way to sort of pull it all together. So my quote today is, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the ability to continue to grow, which makes a difference. And joining me today is the epitome of resilience and growth, the lovely Heidi Shara Armstrong. She is a female entrepreneur and the founder of WearThat Now. And she's going to be talking to me about her entrepreneurial journey and journey into motherhood. So without further ado, Heidi.
Hi, how are you?
So good. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. You look fantastic.
Well, I was definitely styled by the incredible people that you have, an incredible stylist that you've got at WearThat. They are phenomenal.
Amazing. So good to hear.
Thank you so much.
But there's definitely a vibe. Oversized blazers.
I definitely think so. I think we hit the nail on the head.
Totally.
Without having to talk.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thank you for number one styling me. And I find, bringing you with It Takes a Village. I don't know. I felt it was such a lovely partnership.
For sure.
Yeah. And I've seen your offices and you guys are like literally female.
Yeah.
All the way.
90% of our company is female. 95% of our management team is female. We're just hustling.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
I love it. It's such a nice vibe. I feel like you can feel it the moment you walk in through the door.
100% the intent. People always say to me, talk about your culture. And it's like, it's not me to talk about it. It's what do you feel when you come in? What is it? If I wasn't there, the walls are saying, and we really try and embody that in everything that we do.
I truly feel that way.
That's great.
No,
good.
It's wonderful.
My job is done. I can retire.
That's what you're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Obviously now, just to give a little bit of a background to everyone who's listening, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? How long have you been in the UAE? And then obviously tell us a little bit about how you came up with this incredible concept.
So I am Australian. I've lived in the UAE for the last 10 years. And I actually come from a background of buying. So I studied to be a publicist, in fact. And then I took a detour into fashion design, and my first job I got at Target. And I just loved working at Target. I got put onto this program for 6 people in Australia, and they put you on this like fast track career path to be a buyer. And so I was a buyer. My first appointment, I was running this multi-million-dollar company. I was developing a lot of products for Target. It's obviously enormous volume. But
Target, it must have been overwhelming.
No, it was like, if you can survive this, you're good.
Because Target's a machine.
Yeah, it's amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
And it kind of was really the core of what I wanted to do with WearThat. But then, love and life took me to London. Okay. So, we left Australia. We moved to London, like a lot of Aussies do, had 2 years there. And I remember sitting on, our couch in our bedroom, and I said to my boyfriend at the time, what do you want to do? Like, we're up in London. What should we do? And I said, do you want to just move to Dubai? Let's see. And he said, yeah, all right. So that was the total decision. And it kind of it frames a lot of how I make my decisions today. And we moved to Dubai. Literally a month later, he got a job. I moved here. Then I got a job at Shellhoop Group, working as a luxury fashion buyer. So I've gone from sort of these mass market department stores to the luxury business. Yes. And I love luxury. I was going to all the fashion weeks, had the best job.
Very glamorous.
Oh my God, I had the best job ever. But part of me just didn't feel totally fulfilled. And I really wanted to create something for the masses, because that's sort of where I've come up and where I've grown up in my career. And I wanted to bring the concept of luxury and the concept of what we were giving to these VIP consumers to the everyday girls. And so I come up with WearThat, which is a luxury service for everyday girls. And it's a styling company, and really taking on board all the things I learned in my luxury experience, but bringing it to the masses of real women. And what is it that, I always said that these women are the ones that actually need a stylist. They need that VIP service because they're the ones that have kids at home. They have their 80-hour weeks. They're the entrepreneurs. They're the ones that don't have necessarily the finances to be having their life ran for them. They're the ones running their life. And so I wanted to give a platform to the everyday girl that just needed a little bit of help.
I love that. But you do feel like, let's say, for example, whether it's online or in your store, you do walk in and feel very much prioritized. And that's it. Yeah. I love the fact that it's the everyday, woman who needs that extra help, because honestly, time is
for sure
this big. So it's very, very limited. Yeah. And life does have a way. And then all of a sudden you've got an engagement party or a birthday or a wedding or some sort of dinner party. And you're like, oh my God,
totally
nothing to wear.
And for us, luxury isn't luxury in terms of, clothes or accessories. Luxury is time and convenience. And that's really the core of our business. And when we talk about luxury for our consumers, it's not about sending her luxury handbags. It's about sending her something that's going to save her time, save her stress, and make her feel confident. Yeah. And that's really how we shape a lot of our values and how we do it.
Oh, I love it. And you guys launched in 2018.
Yes. So I was working at Shellhoop, and they just had launched their new incubator program. Oh, it hadn't even launched yet. I come up with the idea of WearThat. I pitched it to Shellhoop. They were like, oh, this is new, interesting. We'll kind of back you. And they've been my strategic partner ever since. But we've done a lot since then.
One thing that I was when I was doing a little bit of research and as to your background was the hashtag Real Girl. Mm-hmm. I found when I kept reading that, honestly, it gave me goosebumps because I love the fact that was your target. And that, I think just by what you said, that was who you wanted to,
for sure,
to appeal to, really.
Because I was working in luxury fashion. I was, like I said, I was going to all these fashion weeks. So I was doing all this amazing, incredible, very glamorous stuff. But I would go to the gym and my friends would be like, can you style me? How do I wear this? What can I do? And I would be spending my weekends and my mornings like just styling these real girls that wanted to look good, feel good on the way to work. So I was like, okay, luxury, great, but let's take and apply that to the masses, which is our whole business model has been built around.
That's incredible. With the podcast, the majority of my listeners are mothers. And I find women in that stage of life, your body changes and it goes up and down. And I remember, after Laith, my first, sort of watching my body go through these transformation changes of pregnancy and post-birth. The clothes that I had either didn't fit me or I wasn't really very comfortable wearing them. And it's not like you want to go out and all of a sudden spend hours and hours for entirely new wardrobe. And it's that flexibility when you have a newborn and you just want to feel a little bit better. Totally. And I found them like, oh, what a service. What a service. It's incredible.
And the average woman goes through 4 different sizes in their lifetime, right? So they can go from an 8 to a size 16. I just had a baby myself, so I totally empathize. But I think that what we try and do is, we position ourselves as real girls styling real girls. So we don't come to our clients as stylists. We come as friends, as therapists, to really sort of understand and empathize with what our clients are going through. Because, like I said, I just had a baby. I think I gained nearly 20 kilos. I still have to show up and feel great and look great, but it's just about how I adjust my style to my new body. And then we want to pass that on to our consumers, whatever is going on in their life.
Have you always wanted to do something like this? I mean, was this like growing up? Was that something you were always sort of drawn towards?
It's really funny because when I go home, I'm not a school kid. Like I was not, that interested in school. I always say to my mum, I'm like, why didn't you make me do business? It would have helped me so much. She's like, you weren't interested. You didn't want to do anything like that. But, I did media, and in my last year of school, I created this, book of my friends, and it was a catalog. At the time, it was just catalogs, and I'd photographed them all and I'd styled them all, and I put it as this catalog that I was going to distribute and get people to shop from. And I still have it to this day. What's it called? I can't remember. Anyway, and I just think it was always part of me to do something because I clearly did it and then just forgot about it. And then 10 years or whatever later, I was like, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's funny how that is the case. You know, then you can sort of see now in your children where they tend to gravitate towards. And I think, okay, let me, hone that skill in a little bit more. So that's so interesting.
Totally.
It'll be interesting to see that book as well.
Yeah, I have it. I have it. Yeah. It's, my photography skills weren't the best then.
Regardless, it's like a little, what was it? The crystal ball into the future.
But I think it's always like at school or when you're growing up, you have the freedom to explore your creativity and your passions and what you want to do. It's when life comes into it and there's the pressure of getting a job and taking this career path or whatever that you can derail, and then eventually you will come back on track, but you will. I mean, why did I do a degree to be a publicist? That makes no sense at all.
I think it's more this question all the time. I think specifically with entrepreneurs, it's that formal education versus what you actually know and know that could potentially work.
Totally.
But I feel, it's almost like a little insurance policy.
Yes, totally.
You've done it. You've got a degree. Therefore, whatever the societal metric has been met, and you think, okay, that's fine.
Totally.
So a lot of people actually who've studied one thing go off and do something completely different. Yeah. So
100%.
One thing I also read was that you've got a 65% repeat customer base.
We do.
Which is insane. I think if you were to take that, I'm not very good with business, but I know that, to be able to retain over half of your customer base
every month.
Well, that's how? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Well, a large part of we have kind of two strategies at WearThat is one, of course, acquiring new customers, growth, which is, of course, every business has to have. But the second strategy is customer satisfaction, and we call it product to customer match. And our number one intent at WearThat, regardless of anything, is to make our customers feel good in their clothes. So we would spend 80% of our time in a week discussing the fits, the fabrics, the styles on each body shape, the height that these customers should be, the products, the height they should be going to. We look at every single detail, and no detail is too small. So that's why, because when we're sending clothes, it is sending it with love, and we want our customers to feel great. Now, of course, it's not perfect. Sometimes we get it wrong. But the more the model is built, that the more feedback you give us, the more information you feed back to us, the better the recommendation will come in the next box.
And just so that everyone sort of understands the process. So what is, for example, they log on to WearThat now. What would be the next step? Is it sort of matching them? I think you send them a survey or a
so they come on, they do the style quiz. It takes about 10 minutes. Then we match you to your personal stylist. We do this through proprietary algorithms, but also with a human. So we understand,
really
of course, our business is tech and data driven, but it's not at all the core of what we do. It's humans. It helps build and grow the business, but the humans are still, of course, the number one drivers and decision makers. So we have our operations manager who looks at that. And we're like, okay, well, this person should match to this. And then sometimes clients will come back and say, I'd actually prefer to go with a stylist that's a little bit more classic or a little bit more modest. And of course, we can make those adjustments. Then the stylist will talk to you, get to know you, understand you. I mean, the more info you tell her, great. If you don't want to tell her anything, no problem. She'll go and build your looks, send you the box to your house where you can try before you buy, and just send back what you don't want.
alternatively, they can also drop into the
Yes, they can have a personal styling session. I built the model.
Which is what I did. Guys. Yeah, that's what I did. They were pulled specifically for me, and I felt so special. I cannot tell you.
That's amazing.
I felt like I woke up in the morning excited to do it, and I left buzzing.
Great.
So it was incredible. It was definitely something. When you really need a pick me up, that's exactly what it was. I felt amazing. So special. There's no other word to describe it.
And I built the model because I wanted, it's only 105 dirhams to sign up, but I wanted it almost to feel too good to be true.
Well, that's exactly, you took the words out of my mouth. I'm just a regular person. I mean, there's no sort of just regular mom kind of doing her own thing. And I felt like a celeb.
Oh, good. That's the intent.
That was,
you look like a celeb.
Well, thank you. But yeah, it was exactly that. I was, it was just bringing that level of, you prioritize your whole team prioritizes that feeling, I find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's the intent.
So I guess that's where your 65%
exactly.
They're addicted to that feeling.
Well,
they must.
When you, we all fall into different traps when it comes to running a business, driving growth, driving revenue. I think we have always said from the beginning of time that if we focus on our clients, we focus on what's best for her, the clothes that we give her, the revenue and the growth will come. And it did. And we saw incredible growth, exponential growth, to the point where we couldn't even keep up at a moment in time, like 250% year over year growth, month over month growth as well. And we just always come back to that. If we do what is right for our customer, we will see the results.
That's it. Keep them fun.
Yeah.
What would you say was probably your most rewarding moment in this entire journey?
I think becoming a multi-million-dollar company, it's not something that I ever sought out to achieve. I just like dressing women in nice clothes. And I'm not from a business background. So I actually remember when we hit the first million, they all come with balloons and there was this big celebration and I was like, oh, what? Did we?
Really?
Are we?
Us?
Us?
Show me the number.
And I was like, oh, how did I totally miss that in the ongoing road of entrepreneurship? So that was really amazing and incredible. And to say that we've achieved that, I would never expect. I'm really proud of that.
You should be.
And also what we've raised and how we've done it and what we've achieved, but also what we've said we're going to achieve and then done. I'm really proud of that too. We stick to our word.
I remember when I came to see you, you were telling me sort of story of origin that you were 2 or 3 people?
Yes.
And now you're 50?
We were 1. So I didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
I started with myself, obviously. I hired 1 girl, then a second. We were 2 for the first year, but I think within the first 3 months, we realized it was getting out of control. And then now we're 60.
60.
Yeah. So 60. Yeah.
60.
I'm like, what? How did that even happen?
Well, the thing is that, the authenticity of what you're doing, it does come through.
For sure.
And essentially, again, when we talked a little bit before we started recording, it's that, you are a therapist, a stylist, a friend, somebody that does make you feel good. So
yeah. That's what we try. And that's always been our intent. And of course, over time, you can go off track. This is all just part of business. And, business in itself is really difficult. Anyone who's ran a business or started a startup or scaled a startup will tell you it's one of the hardest things that you can do in terms of work. So to sort of be navigating through it with somewhat success is really rewarding.
So just on the flip side, the challenges, what do you think to date have been the biggest one?
Challenges. Every day there is a challenge. I think for me personally, there was the issue, not an issue at all, but of being a founder and then moving to leading a team of 60. I was just, like I said, I just like dressing women in clothes. Now all of a sudden I'm responsible for.
I think a lot of founders feel that.
Yes.
That they've got the idea, they know what they're doing with the plan.
Yes.
But it's the running a business. It's quite difficult.
And like how you lead your team, how you inspire them, how you motivate them. This was new territory for me to sort of navigate along the way, but still learning, still growing, still trying.
The main thing. I get it sometimes a lot. And I think a lot of people do. And I think it's become a little bit of a common personality issue. Imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Do you experience it?
No, I don't.
Good. That's really good.
I don't. I was thinking about it before we started, and to be really true to myself, I don't. I think I don't care.
Yeah.
I know that if I meet someone that maybe is more success or their business is done better, they have the same insecurities, they have the same problems, they're just at a bigger scale. Mm. We're all just figuring it out. Mm. And I think that I'm okay with that. And so there's very few times that I am kind of disrupted or stressed by that.
That's really good. I think that's something to be said, because to put yourself in other people's shoes, I mean, that's never going to work for anybody.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, you're kind of in your own lane doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
You're comparing you to you.
For sure.
As opposed to you to anybody else.
And people will say to me, like, this person or this brand's done this. I don't care. I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me about the competitors. People will say, I have no interest. I never ask. I'm not focused on it. I just focus on us. And I'm laser focused on what we need to do. And maybe every once in a while I look from side to side, but not
That's
very
never good
often.
When you look from side to side.
Compare and despair.
No, it's
compare and despair. This is what my husband
and despair.
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah,
good. So we're gonna X on imposter syndrome and compare.
It's not
and
good.
despair.
Not good
Stop
for anyone.
And move along.
I mean, we tell it to our team as well. Like, if they're feeling down or whatever, maybe I didn't achieve what I wanted. It's like, just focus on you. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Dust yourself off and on to the next one.
Yeah. There's no time.
No.
We just have to, we're always running. So it's just like, how can we just keep moving forward, keep learning? One of our core values as a company is to be humble. And that means not about not shouting our successes from the rooftop, but learning, identifying where there's growth, what could I have done better, and just moving on.
Yeah. Again, now another little curveball into it. You become a mom recently.
Yes, I did.
With a 4-month-old.
Yes. My good. How?
How did that happen?
We look at her and we're like, where did you come from?
Yeah, that's always, especially with the first, you think, what?
Yeah,
what
just
happened?
Yeah, totally.
Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah. So, yeah, my goodness, where to start? So it took us 6 years to have our little one.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. And so we call it a little miracle. Mm-hmm. But, I'm the kind of person that I do roll with the punches a little bit. I sort of get on with it. Everyone would say, how are you managing? I'm like, I actually don't know.
Well, that was my second question. The balance question. Should it be thrown out the window though?
No. So I'm pretty strong opinion on balance. Prior to having my baby, I had no balance, honestly. And I'm very okay with it. And people ask me, it's not healthy. You work too much. And you know what? Yes, I do. But this is what I want to do. And I'm not going to work like this for the next 20 years. Yeah. I'm working like this for 5 to set, hopefully, myself up to build this company, to grow this community and what we're trying to do. Am I going to work 18 hours a day for the next 10 years? No. But I'm okay to do it now. And people would always say and criticize, but it is what it is. Now, of course, I have a baby. I can't work 18 hours a day, but what it's allowed me to do is really prioritize. So now, the things I was doing in that time, I focus on growth. I focus on customer satisfaction. I focus on revenue drivers and expanding our business in different markets. And that's all I focus on. Anything else that takes my attention away, I'm not interested.
That's great.
So yeah,
that's the way it should be.
But I still have no balance. It's okay. I'll get there eventually. Later.
Do you want to, so it did take you guys 6 years to have a little baby. Mm-hmm. And did you find that I remember the reason why I'm bringing that back, because there was when we first met, we had a conversation saying that, you were having the I guess you were at the top of your game in terms of your personal and professional life and what's been happening with WearThat and everything. but personally, you were absolutely...
For sure. I think it's always the way with women. So we had, like I said, we were having just insane growth. We just closed an enormous, great round. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. A week before, of course, I think was suffering my third miscarriage. So it was always the peaks and troughs of life, right?
Yeah.
I'm not one to be like, poor me, and dwell on the situation. I can very much look at it objectively and say, well, this is just how my life is in this moment, my personal life, but look at how lucky I am to be having such a thriving business and put all my energy into that. And you just, like I said, we just dust ourselves off and get on with it. It wasn't going to change the situation. I did say to my husband at the time, he said, come on, we have to postpone the rounds because we're raising our rounds at the time. I'm like, no, let's just have one really crappy week and just move on. And then, of course, now I look back and I think, what an amazing thing to have gone through. Built a little bit of tenacity, a little bit of character for me. And yeah, I just feel like after that, I can kind of take on anything. Yeah.
It's hard, though.
For sure. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. And you have to allow yourself the time. But like I said, I look at my baby now and I think, oh my God, like, where did you come from? How did you get here?
They have their own time.
Yeah, exactly.
Their own time. If they're not ready, they're not ready.
And, from a business perspective, had I had my baby then, maybe the business and where we are today wouldn't have been there. So it's just give and take.
That's it. It's just kind of a little bit of a shift in mindset. And it's to realize that it's not a linear thing.
For sure.
Professional, personal life, they do go hand in hand. Yes. And you will have high points and you will have very low.
Totally.
And I think everybody, that's kind of across the board of anybody, whether they're starting a family, starting a business. It is definitely something that, you have to sort of take into account, accept that it's happened, deal with it in your own way.
Yes.
And be resilient enough to pick up and move forward. And I think that resilience point, that's the hard part.
Yeah. And running a business, that's all it is. You have to be resilient. Every day something will knock you down to derail you, take you slightly off track. But I just got on with it. And I'm grateful that I had that mindset back then to be able to do it and get through it. And like I said, now I have like a knock on wood. I have a great business and of course have a beautiful baby.
Oh, God bless them both.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so let's say, for example, you've got somebody listening to this and they're in the process of either trying to start a family as, at the same time, trying to establish a business. What would be advice that you would give?
There's no good time. I think that, you just have to identify the priorities. And it took me a long time to do that. Like I said, I would throw 18 hours a day. Like there were times that I would come home from work at 4 a.m. I would go back at 7. No one knows this, of course, like it's our business. We would just do these long hours and kind of go home like a zombie. But, there's no good time, and it's just identifying what is actually important in your business. 80% of the result will come from 20% of the work. What is that? And it's really trying to hone in on that so that the time that you do invest in it, it's leading to the result that you want. Like I said, I'm still learning.
Yeah. That's actually such a good, I love probability. So, when you say it's such an amazing thing, 80% of the work with 20% of the results, right?
So 80% of the result will come from 20% of the work.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I've really challenged our management team to do now. Like, what is it that is actually driving your successes and double down on them and kill everything else? We work at such a speed at where if something is launched and it doesn't work, we don't dwell on it. We don't cry about it. We just kill it and we move on.
Yeah. How do you do that with a 4-month-old baby? That's going to be the people listening. And they're like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, do you sleep?
No, I don't. So, honestly, we come back to balance. If I'm at home with the baby in the day, she goes to bed at 6:37. I start my day from 7. I will go to bed at 12:31. I'll catch up on what's happened. I'll do all my work. I'm probably running on around 4 hours sleep. Is that healthy? Absolutely not. Is it forever?
No, it's not forever. I can definitely tell you 5 years in, it's definitely not forever. And I think, sleep is very, very important. But I think in relative to having children at the moment, your body is fully capable of supporting you through that very, very sleep.
She's, and she's a relatively good sleeper. So I'm lucky. But, like I said as well, we just prioritize. We focus on what we need to. And we have an unwritten rule in our management team. And I think this is where it comes back to like leadership and management that there is no time. We all know in our business there's no time because time is the most important thing to us. We're direct. We're quick and we're direct in how we give feedback, how we address things, and we move on. So there is an unwritten rule that if I'm direct, if I'm just like, no, okay, no one should be offended by it. No one should be upset about it. It's just that there's no time and we all move on.
That's actually true. It's kind of like if you do it once.
Yes.
If it's right, great. If it's not, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Just move on.
Yeah, just move on.
And we do it. And like if the issues come up, we attack them head on. Say if something happens on Friday afternoon, we'll address it Monday morning first thing, and we won't talk about it again. It's done. We move on. And that's kind of as well how we can balance the business. I can balance the business and the baby because do
you do that at home as well? Like, nope, let's move on.
Yeah. I'm like very, I can make a decision quickly and then I can forget about it and not worry. And, people will still say, oh, but I'm like, oh, that, or they'll say, remember you said, I'm like, I don't remember anything. Like, was that yesterday? Let's go.
Because you can't. I mean, the mental capacity
for sure.
can only handle so much.
For sure.
So you can't be going and backtracking and overthinking. And
No. Yeah. There's nothing. I wish I was more of an overthinker, but I'm not. I just decide and go.
I love that.
I jump off.
I'm getting better at making quick decisions, but I do this thing where I'll make a decision and I think about it. And I think, was that the right one? Did I say that right? Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Should I have done this a different way? But I am now getting to a point where it's a skill.
It is.
You can't just, fire out a decision and, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But I'm still on the fence where I can make a quick decision, but I'll always think about it.
You are? Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. You'll
get there.
As time goes on.
It's the time pressure.
Yes.
The more pressured you are, the more sharpened your decision-making skills have to be.
And it depends on how you approach failure. For me, I'm not that phased
that's a good one.
By failure. I'm not that phased by losing. I just want to do well and do right and do good. So if I make a decision and it's wrong, I don't care. I just am like, oh, that was bad, or I shouldn't have done that, or I made a mistake, but I just move on.
And I think you definitely have to differentiate. I don't think there's any failure, definitely when it comes to parenting. It's very relative.
Yes.
I think there's room for error, and the error is definitely something that you can take on board as a teaching opportunity. I've learned that a lot with toddlers.
Right.
But maybe in business, I don't know what constitutes its failure, but I just find failure is quite relative depending on how you look at it.
Failure in ideas. I mean, in our business, we could invest money into specific tech. We could invest money into specific people, departments.
And it hadn't.
Yeah, and it doesn't eventuate. It doesn't result in what we expected. There's examples where I've invested some of our money into certain areas that it hasn't driven the growth that we want. Like, okay, I can go, or I can just be like, that's a learning, and this is how I'm going to adjust the strategy moving forward. Yeah. And that's kind of really how I approach it.
That's brilliant. Honestly, it's brilliant. Again, definitely a skill to be learned. And I'm pretty sure now looking back, you are well more equipped to do that now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think about when I first started the business, was I like this? I don't think so. It's something I've developed over time as well. Working with new people every single day, managing a team, you have to sort of have a little bit of a backbone to be able to lead and drive and kind of get the ship pointing in the right direction at all times.
So if I take you all the way back to your Target days, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
All right.
Looking forward.
I was really, I was super hung up on doing really, really well. I was a workaholic. I was super fixated on just being the best and trying to do the best in everything. I just relaxed a little bit. But
all fall into place.
Pardon?
It would all fall into place.
For sure. And just be a little bit easy on yourself. I tear myself up. Like I still do it a little bit over time, but I just tear myself up if something, didn't happen. But now, like I said, I've just learned over time to just get over it.
Do you think the perspective of becoming a mom has also played a big role?
I feel now since I've become a mom, I'm more direct. My team's going to be like, how is that even possible? They said that I've softened a little bit.
That's so funny. No, but look, I think it gives you perspective in the sense that, things happen in motherhood that you think, what?
Yes.
And I think that may, sort of, I guess, smooth out the edges
for sure. Yeah. Definitely. I think for sure it's helped. Yeah. But it's just, you can't empathize with someone until you're going through it yourself. 100%. So of course we had before I was a mom, most of our senior managers are moms as well. I couldn't empathize with what they were going through. Of course, now I can. Yeah. I'm like, okay, no, this is what they mean when they say this, or this is the stress they're feeling. And, that's with anything or any part of life.
Yeah, that's it. It's just, I think, because obviously, again, your team is 90% female. It's to be able to have that level of, I guess, flexibility when it comes to motherhood. Yes. And, kids go to schools, they've got school things on.
Yes.
They're always in the middle of the workday.
Totally.
Pick up and drop off.
Yes.
Things like that. And they do, nobody wants to miss them.
For sure.
And I love the fact that because it is also quite predominantly female, led, that gets taken into account massively.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had maternity leave, but me being me, I couldn't be like totally switched off.
But I guess that's because it's also your first baby or second baby?
First, but I was still going into the office like strapped to me, like looking at the collections. I was still excited about what the business was doing. I was still excited about what we were achieving, even with my little beautiful baby, and just bringing her along with it. And I think it's just into how they don't have to be separate. They can coexist in some way.
Yeah. Somehow, some way.
Yeah. Somehow. They have to, for sure. For sure.
It's a good mindset as well.
I did put a cot in our office and then I realized she doesn't like it. So I'm like, damn it.
Next time I come, you're going to have a little nursery downstairs.
I've thought about it.
Just to have a little space where little kids can come in. That would be really good.
I know, because I think that, there is that battle of wanting to work and wanting to progress in our careers and do these incredible things that we're doing with our businesses, but you don't want to miss anything with your baby. No. And I don't want to leave my baby at home when she's so little. And miss out on her rolling, or, the other day she rolled onto her stomach. So if I was not here, I would never have seen that. Yeah. And I don't want to miss those things. So it's just trying to find a hybrid role and a hybrid way of working.
What are your thoughts on mom guilt?
Mom guilt? Yeah. It's
real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
Do you not find that you're almost like the baby's born and so does the guilt?
Yes. How can I answer?
I only ask because I have it a lot.
Yeah.
I feel guilty all the time. I have to say though, except doing the podcast.
Right.
So I found this for me. I mean, if you were to tell me, take a day and get a massage, or you know what, go do your nails in the time that you were supposed to play with the kids, or all these self-care activities, I would find massively guilt.
Right.
I won't stop. I won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I remember I went to get a massage when the kids were very little. They still are, but when they were very, very little. And I kept thinking about I did it during nap time. And I kept thinking, I can't wait for this massage to be over because I just want to check the monitor and run back home.
Yeah.
But after my oldest was 5, It Takes a Village came around. And I had no guilt.
Yeah, of course, because it's also something you're passionate about. It's probably fulfilling you in a different way.
That's it. It was weird, and I can't explain it.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked, because I find mom guilt does come in all different, it creeps in from somewhere and you think, why am I feeling so guilty? Yeah. And then you sort of put your finger on it. But I know that every time I'm here or recording or with an incredible guest, I find I'm not feeling that guilty.
For sure. Yeah. So, I think I'm a bit the same. Yeah. I do try to be present. Like if I'm at home, working from home, the moments that she's awake, I try to be present. Of course, I can't be all the time. I have a business to run. Yeah. But I also am excited for what I'm building and what she's seeing. Yeah. I'm really excited for it. And, you know, we always joke, and my husband and I always say, one day she'll come and she'll be like, I want to be a doctor. And we'll be like, huh?
What?
No. What about entrepreneurship? Like, why don't you
have you seen this empire?
Yeah. Why don't you want to start a business?
But we will back you.
That's what I said to my husband. I was like, would you, we were doing like hypotheticals. I said, would you invest in her business? So she said, I'm going to start a business at the end of school or go to university. And my husband comes from a background of education, and he's like, well, she should go to university. And I was like, oh no, we'll give her money for her business.
She needs to go to university first. She do whatever she wants.
Yeah, totally. Then I said, well,
quite the same.
Yeah, I said she can go to university, and then I'll back her business while she's there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, good. So like that, I'm glad that it's just, I think guilt is so personal, and it really is very much a fluid thing. I find for the most random thing, like I could have like an hour and I know the kids are at home, so I quickly rush to grab a coffee because I'm desperate for it. I feel guilty. And but I could spend 2 hours here and not feel guilty.
Well, it is interesting because I was meant to go to New York a couple of months ago, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah. I will go to work, I will do all the things, but I just couldn't bring myself to go to New York. The thought of it just made me feel just awful. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping, obviously, with time that will change. She's so little. I couldn't leave her. But yeah, I feel it.
And I think it's one of those things that's worth pointing out that there are things that people can do to not feel so guilty.
For sure.
You just kind of have to identify it.
For sure.
Each person is very, very different.
Totally.
And like you said, going to New York might have not worked with time, but you might revisit it in another year or whatever, makes you feel comfortable. And being aware of that, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And it just, for me, I want to be there with my baby. We live in a city where help and support is so readily available, which of course we have, but I don't want that person to be the one who's seeing all these exciting things that are going on in her life. Like I want to be the one. So it's just, I'm lucky, like I said, to have got the business to a place where I can have some flexibility around that as well.
It's amazing. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it, but it's just amazing.
Getting up and doing it.
Yeah. What can we expect?
So there's lots. Oh my goodness. We are so much cool stuff. So we're in the process of launching 3 new revenue streams, all around hyper-personalization, not only in Dubai, but scaling across the Middle East. We are launching WearThat series, which is partnering with specific brands and amazing women in the region to create our own line. We're about to launch our own line under WearThat as well.
That's incredible.
There is so much. So it's all happening now. Q4 is, like I said, we just are running. And then we'll be in a position to hopefully launch these new ones in Jan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye out.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Just don't stop.
Yeah.
Do you take vacations?
Honestly, in the last 5 years, we have taken a few, but we work. They're like working vacations. My husband and I, we are, before I had the baby, we're ultra marathon runners by choice. So we would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go and run.
Oh, like actually, I thought you.
Oh no, actually, I think I've ran like maybe 11 ultra marathons. So we love a little bit of like torture in our life, a little bit of
long endurance.
Yeah. And we did it. I love it because it builds mental capacity. It builds mental strength. And just to go out there for 12 hours and not worry about anything except finishing and kind of like just crossing the line. And we would run, mountains in Europe. We went to Finland, and we did in the Arctic Circle this amazing race that went all night, 12 hours, 70 kilometers.
Wow.
And so we love this kind of mental strength that comes from these sort of things. Yeah. So for me, I just get on with that. And I know it's not that bad considering what.
I feel like that puts everything in perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a little crazy. We've stopped now, of course, the time commitment. I was doing it at the start of my business. I had to stop because we would have to train. You know, some mornings you would train for 6 hours before work. You'd go and do a big run out in the mountains. With a baby, for sure, we can't do it. No. I was saying to my friend the other day, I'd love to do one, but that's just for sure. I can't.
But right now, you will.
Yeah, one day. One day.
You'll get there way before you, even like sooner than you think.
I just look back and I'm like, how the hell did I do
Yeah, but I mean, now I feel like, you know, when you're in the thick of it,
yes.
like you have it, you're so deep. Like the water's so deep. Slowly, you start to see the surface. Yeah, it's unbelievable how it just goes all the way down. Yes. And then you slowly come back up and then you have another baby.
Oh my God. This is what everyone keeps saying to me at the minute. I'm like, how do people have more than one?
No, I mean, it took me 3 years to work.
Yeah. For sure. I think it'll be something similar, but oh my goodness, it's a lot of work. It's a small little thing. I'm like, wow, how this cute little thing can create so much like
it's a disruptor. That's the whole point.
Yes.
They come in, change everything around, and you try your hardest. I remember having my first, especially the first one, because I'm like, you know what? In 6 months, life will go back to normal. No,
for sure.
In 9 months, it's good. When he's walking, it's good. It never returns back to normal.
For sure.
In a way, that is a good thing. And in a way, there was a point where I had to accept it, be sad about it a little bit, and then move on. But again, I find, and I'm pretty sure I'm sure you probably see it now, that I became honestly a better version of myself, even productivity wise, after I became a mother.
For sure.
It's the incredible amount of accurate juggle. I find it sometimes if I drop the ball, it hasn't hit all, the ground yet. I've caught it just then. I don't know how.
It is for sure. I think that's, like I said, a lot of our management team is women. And that's why we just get so much done, because they just go all day, every day. And they kind of just turn up unscathed at the end. And whereas I don't know if it was the complete opposite. I've never worked with a management team of only men, how it compares. But.
No. Women got it under control.
For sure.
It's impossible there. No, I'm telling you, a lot of the times, even in my day job, when we're looking to hire, for me, a huge big criteria is if they are a mother.
Yes.
Because you know that she's had very little sleep. She can do everything as well as deliver, because as well as from a selfish point of view, she doesn't want to go back and redo a mistake.
This is important.
So she's doing it once and perfectly and moving on to the next task to finish it, to go home to her kids.
This is it. I'm not in the mood to be doing things twice at the minute. This is what I say to the team. I'm like, we do it once, we do it properly, we move on.
That's it.
No one's got time. I can't be dealing with that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Heidi, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for, it's really inspirational. I feel like, when you shed light to, entrepreneurs and things like that, I think a lot of the time it's quite intimidating to start something. But, when you bring it back to one person and you've gone out and got the funding and got the idea, then you grew and you grew and you grew, throw in parenting in the mix, it's good to get that background story. And it is inspirational for whoever's listening and thinking, what? I am going to do it.
Yeah. And I would really encourage everyone to just start. I meet a lot of entrepreneurs. They have ideas and they really get hung up on the detail. They get hung up on, thinking and strategizing. And for me, I really just started, I built the business without a website. There was no box. It's a box business. I didn't have a box. Imagine I went to Dragonmart and got a pink bag.
But that's the point.
It's just start. And what I always hold true to is the fact that I always wanted my customers to feel great. So regardless of if I had a box or a website, they didn't care. They just felt good in the clothes. And that's what I encourage other entrepreneurs to do as well.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, check it out. It is incredible. I'm telling you, you'll feel like a superstar, whether it's online. I actually went in, to their offices and oh my goodness, you guys have an incredible selection.
Yes.
Even accessories.
Yeah, we do it on purpose. So we bring brands that are not exposed in the region.
Yeah.
We bring really cool contemporary brands from Australia, Europe, America, everywhere that aren't necessarily available here.
It's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for my outfit.
Oh, gorgeous.
So and you'll see them all in the different podcast episodes to come. So I'm very excited to be working with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. before we end the episode, I started with a quote, and then I want to end with one, but not from me, from my lovely guest.
So my favorite quote that I always live by is, a lion doesn't turn around when the small dog barks. And it means that I just stay laser focused on what's ahead of me. I don't listen to the noise. I'm not affected by it. And I just go.
That is perfect. I'm going to say that to my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's on my wall at home.
I'm going to say that. So just lions are very, very much a symbolic thing. My son's name is Layth. In Arabic, it means lion. So,
oh, right. Yeah, that's a good one.
I love it. I'm going to tell them literally after when I go home today.
It's and if you Google it, there's a beautiful picture of like a lion.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. Heidi, thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
And really carving out the time, which I know is quite difficult.
Anytime.
So we'll have to do this again.
Yes.
Good, yeah.
See you in the office. You can bring the studio.
Oh, I will. We'll bring everybody. Do you have a men's line?
We don't.
Before I end this?
We don't. Okay. We're 100% focused on making women feel good.
Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Get it from somewhere else.
They keep asking me, everyone, oh my goodness, everyone keeps asking me, men. I'm like, listen, we're just all about the ladies.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to They Say It Takes a Village. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I look forward to bringing you another one next week. Don't forget, please subscribe, rate, and review so I can reach and help even more parents. And if you've got a topic that you'd like me to cover, please head over to my Instagram page, ittakesavillage.me, and drop me a line.